Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
It's the moment we've been waiting for. USA Global TV and Radio Reunion Show. We celebrate world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. And now we sell your vision. Celebrating 2 years together as we have crossed many milestones, including over 1 million authentic views in 2023. We have a global reach to help our global entrepreneurs. Today, we are celebrating our 2023 award winners, including TRACY CRAM Perkins, Keith Soltoyanes, Caroline HEWARD, Red O'Loughlin, Philip Sykes, Dr. Madeline Chan, Roland Friedel, Zane Carson Caruth, Katrina Valente, Anne Scotland. And today we'll be awarding 5 other team members for their accomplishments in 2023. 2024 is a year of evolution as we focus on business owners. Subscribe to our channel at USA Global TV. Yay! Welcome to our second reunion party here, celebrating our 2nd year in business. We are so thrilled at USA Global TV and Radio to welcome you wherever you are in the world, whatever platform you're joining us on. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and it's truly an honor. It's been an incredible journey. And for those of you out there who are entrepreneurs and have your own businesses, you know that it's never without challenge, but there's tons and tons of opportunities. So today I feel elated. Like these balloons behind me, I just feel so full of happiness. I don't want to say hot air. I just feel so filled with joy, and I'm uplifted. So today on our reunion event, we will be welcoming some of our team members from around the world, and they'll be sharing a little bit about what it is that they do and the value that they can bring to you and to your business. So a little bit of background for those of you who are not familiar with me or with our platform. I started out on the radio. I was on a radio station in New York, Business Talk Radio. They just randomly called me and they wanted to see if I was interested in doing an 8-minute interview as a coach and talking about what it's like to be a coach, what clients are interested in working on. And this was in 2019. And so I was doing the radio show while I was doing my corporate career. And as it turns out, I found out that you could actually take a radio program and you could put it over social media. So we started out on Facebook and YouTube. And at the time, we had from 1 show to 2 shows to 3 shows to 4 shows. So I had 4 shows that I was doing with my co-hosts, and I hired a producer, and I learned what the producer was doing, and then I learned how to do it myself. And then from there, I was working with a couple of partners and really working on branding and how can we build out the platform. And so people started coming from all parts of the world because they had a story that they wanted to share. And so I decided that my legacy when I leave this world is that this platform will be standing on its own. It will have nothing to do with me. It will be for generations to come, where people can come and share their story. And as we evolve, we realize that there's truly a need to help business entrepreneurs all over the world get their message out. And what a great way to get your message out by doing it on the television, on the radio, because everybody doesn't know who you are. And to get yourself, to get your name out there, if one more person knows of you, that's one potential opportunity for you to help someone and bring value. Just today, when I was at my spinning class at the Spin District, they do an amazing job. I'll be talking a little bit about them later. I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman there who was spinning, and I just happened to say, hey, I wrote this book if anybody wants to read it. We started chatting, and he was telling me about his wife, and she's also an author, and you just never know where connections can take you. So that's what we're all about. We're still about education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration, and we're adding value by being able to go directly to entrepreneurs and speak with them, understand what their objectives are for this year, and how being on a television platform can bring value to them, and how we can work together. So stay tuned for more on that. Today, not only will you be meeting for the first time for some of you, and for many of you, it will be not the first time if you watch our programs, people who are our expert correspondents around the world. We have presence in many countries, and we will also be meeting some of the people behind the scenes. So right now, our website, usaglobaltv.com, it's actually in its next iteration of an evolution. So it's in the sandbox, so to speak, and we will be rolling it out. Our team didn't want to take a chance to roll it out today, which was really my hope. I was really hopeful that we could say, ta-da, here's the new website. But unfortunately, we didn't want to take any chances. So we are now live streaming from our website, usaglobaltv.com. And we are also on a number of other platforms. And let me just share that with you. So we are now seen on not only our website, but also E360 TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, YouTube, Android TV, Apple TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can also hear us on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Samsung, and Spotify, as well as many others. So there's a place for you to watch and listen. I also want to give a shout out to the people on my team who have been with me since the very beginning. Mr. Roland Friedel was going to be co-hosting with me, and something has come up, so he's not able to make it, but he is there in his motorhome somewhere in Italy. He left his home in Mallorca and decided to hit the road, and he's been out there, I don't know if it's a year and a half or 2 years, but he's been doing all of his shows from his motorhome and bringing in new guests and all types of wonderful content. So hello to you, Roland. I'm sorry that you are not able to join us today, but that's okay. You're still in our hearts. I want to share a little bit about our sponsors. We couldn't be here without our sponsors. They do such a great job. And these people have also been with me since the very beginning. And we'll be watching some of their sponsorships later in the program. Our program today is 3 hours long, and we will have various people coming forward, as well as our award ceremony at the end. So you just got exposure to some of the awards that were already given out earlier. And then we have 5 more awards that we're going to give out today. If you're interested in learning more about our programming, you can go to our website, which is usaglobaltv.com. You can also reach it through usaglobaltv and radio.com. You can find out more information on our YouTube channel, which is also USA Global TV. So I'm going to welcome a couple of people we have backstage. We're going to go one at a time. First, we have Mr. VIVEK Pandy. He actually is a new team member who is joining us, and he is the genius behind our new website development. So let's bring him out and find out what he's been up to. Hello, Vivek. How are you?
Hi, Dr. Jacqueline. I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Thanks so much for joining us today. Where are you located right now?
I'm in New Delhi right now. And first of
Okay.
all, congratulations so much for completing this second anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You know, when I spoke to you, and I'm going to get to how you came to us and how we came together, but I have been so excited about taking our website to the next level. And I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to relinquish control, because I've been managing all 5 websites this whole time. And I like to go in there and play around and move things around. But you were introduced to me through one of our team members, Mr. Red O'Laughlin, and I have complete and total trust in him. And he brought you on to the Wise Ones. And I reached out to you and I said, I'd really like to work with you. And you and I had a conversation. I said, you know what? You're the guy. So welcome to USA Global TV. This is your new home. And for any of our audience members who are thinking about getting a new website, upgrading their website, Vivek and his team are the ones to help you. So Vivek, I'm going to spotlight you a little bit. Why don't you talk to our audience directly about the services that you offer? And then I know you've got to get back to work on the website, but go ahead and tell us more.
So, first of all, we do the website development and the SEO and digital marketing. So, we bring the clients to the people who are looking actually for the people, and who are actually looking for the clients, and the people who are looking to get the services and the products from them. So we make the bridge between the customers and the product service owners, so that they can reach out to them as easiest way as they can.
Fantastic. And Vivek, what are some of the key elements that people who have websites, they may not realize how important it is to appear on the top of a Google search engine optimization? Tell us a little bit about that.
So getting a website is not enough, because you are not making your website for yourself. You have to do the optimization services, so that your website will be up to the Google algorithm. By that, Google will scroll your website and get all the information from your website, that what kind of services you offer, what kind of things you do. And that's how it's going to suggest the people who are looking actually for your services, not to the irrelevant people who are like Tom, Dick and Harry for your services. So in the search engine optimization, in the digital marketing, what we do, we bring the relevant people, not any Tom, Dick and Harry, by the keywords, because stuffing up the keywords is the most important thing in the business. And let's suppose if I am looking for something, so I'll go to the Google and search for that particular thing. So after finding out that particular thing, I will get some website as a suggestion from the Google. But have you ever thought about how Google will suggest about your website and your business? It will only suggest you and your website by getting the keywords in a very right way. And that can be done with getting your website optimized and getting your website ranked, and with the good stuffing of your keywords. So this is the thing, keyword stuffing and optimization. That's how it's going to play the major role.
So there's a lot more that's involved, and you do fabulous work. You've also done Red's website, and again, you're available for people to reach out and contact you. What's the best way for people to contact you, and who would you like to reach out?
See, I would like to reach out. I would like to reach out via the business owners, by the people who are looking to get some clients for their business. And the best way to reach out to me is by calling. You can call me anytime by phone. My number is 302-844-8954. And the second way to reach out to me is email, which is VP, V as in Victor, P as in Paul, at vstechlabs.com.
Thank you so much, Vivek. If you would kindly drop your contact information into the private chat, and then we'll share it with everyone. It's been an absolute honor to have you with us today, and thank you for the great work that you're doing. I got to see Into the Sandbox yesterday, and I'm super excited for where we're going. So thank
Obviously,
you again.
I can, but okay, I'll drop the contact information in the chat box. I
Excellent.
have to, okay.
Yeah, I'll let you go ahead and do that. In the meantime, I'll welcome our next guest. Thank you very much, Vivek.
We'll do
Bye-bye.
that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next guest is no stranger to television. He has appeared on all of the major networks across the world. He has covered very serious news. He's a political analyst. He is a royal commentator, and he has been with me since the very beginning. We're going to dive into that a little bit later, but he has over 1 billion audience across all of his platforms, and he has been the brainchild behind the United Kingdom News and Culture. And he's also the star with Helena of the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show. And he is a dear and personal friend and my mentor. Let's welcome Ian Pelham-Turner. Woo!
Well, good evening from London. It's dark in London, it's cold in London, but I can see in America there's balloons behind. I love the backdrop. First of all, look at this. This is very exciting. You should keep that backdrop. That sums you up in the first place, doesn't it? You know, full of energy, full of life, full of vitality. You know, and I think the reality at the moment is, this year is going to be a golden year for you. You know, 2024, there's going to be so many issues that USA Global TV can actually work with for businesses as well. I've just listened to Vivek. What an interesting person he is. And the reality at the moment is that more and more people, I hope, will join your network from businesses as well, especially because in reality, communication is the best way forward for selling. You know, that's the whole point of it. And in reality, you know, the strategies that you create and the visuals that you create, that will help in a selling and business process. So it's going to be a great 2024, JACALYN.
Thank you so much, Ian. I'm super excited. It's going to be a great 2024 for you as well. The Royally Rich Lifestyle Show has really taken off. And right now, it's not only on USA Global TV and Radio, it's also on E360 TV as well as ALB UK. And I know that you have a plan in place so that more people across the world will be able to see it. Let's talk a little bit about your background. How did you get into broadcasting and when was that?
You know, it was pure luck. I think in reality, at the very part of my career was that I became a commissioned raw photographer. And so through that, I was asked to do Prince William's first baby shoot, not by Prince William because he was 3 months old. That would have been a task. But in reality, by the royal household, and so I did the Christmas shoot, first baby Christmas shoot with Charles and Diana. That sort of really levitated me up. The following year, I won a major award, a Royal Photography Award. And at the same time, then when William and Kate decided to get married, talking about it 2009, I get contacted by CNN. From CNN, I do the actual anchor itself for CNN at the wedding. NBC picked me up from there, and before I know it, you know, there I am across the world, and I'm thinking, how on earth has this happened? You know, all I do, as you can see, is talk. You know, there's no particular skill. You know, obviously I have a lot of background knowledge, along with Helena as well, my colleague, and you know, I think basically these days we have created, I hope, a valued service for TV channels across the world. You know, we're working with USA Global, we're working with Fox, we work with NBC on certain things as well. We're just very shortly now, the show that we're doing now, the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show, As you so rightly say, it's going out and very successfully going out on USA Global TV. It's going out on things like Apple TV and Amazon Fire and so forth. So that's great for us. In UK terms, it's going out on ALB UK TV. So that gives us a platform in Central and Eastern Europe. And also it's now going out on Sky 181 in UK, which is a UK platform, it's owned by an African company. So we're going out in Africa at the same time. And now the very, very latest, and you'll see in our latest show, we're introducing Mary and Gina, who are two of the top Chinese influencers. And so we're going into China. My goodness, you know, what is going to happen next? I do not know.
Well, congratulations, Ian. That is extremely exciting. You and I have been having a number of conversations about the future, and it looks so bright. We're going to be diving into that. But you mentioned your partner, the beautiful, sophisticated HELENA CHARD, who is actually backstage right now. I'm going to be bringing her out. HELENA has been with me since the beginning also, and she is our expert correspondent for United Kingdom News and Culture. She's also a very dear friend. We've had some really in-depth conversations over time, and she is here today. Let's welcome her and find out what she's been up to. Hi, HELENA.
Hi. Oh, my backdrop's looking a bit weird. Sorry about this. Here I am. Lovely to see everybody.
Lovely to see you as well. So you've been working with this guy for what, 14 years now?
Longer.
It's amazing. You know, I interviewed both of you. I think it's over a year ago for the art of being a professional interviewer. And we were talking at the time about what it takes as a team to work together effectively. And you two do such a great job. The Royally Rich Lifestyle Show is quite evidence of that, as well as the United Kingdom News and Culture. So, HELENA, you do a number of things in addition to being on these platforms, and you also have a huge heart. You're very interested in positivity and positive mental health and affirmations. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I'm a broadcast journalist, basically, is my main occupation today. And obviously, I think Ian, I didn't hear, but I think Ian has actually mentioned probably all of my side of things as well, because it's a similar thing. And I work with lots of different platforms, international platforms, and, you know, really talk positively about the royal family, about the UK. And the whole idea is, obviously, we do want everybody to be coming back into our country and spending lots of money. I don't know, that's Ian's term that he uses, but we do really want that. And it's just, I think the biggest thing that I love doing is speaking to people from different ethnicities, cultures, and being able to share how wonderful the UK is, Great Britain is, with them, so that we can all work together in every single way, because I think our world is in a very stressed state. Quite interestingly, I spoke to someone at a party last night, and she was younger than me, and we were talking about the younger generation. Now, I'm probably showing my age now. Is that Generation Z? I'm not sure which generation it is, but anyway, and so we were talking about how displaced the younger people are, and they're very angry. They don't feel they've got a place. They don't feel they've got opportunities, and as a result, there's a lot of anger and upset, and you know, it's the disharmony is so huge, and we all have to work to heal. I think that things. I mean, we don't all have the answer, but we can work towards a better place. But yes, I'm interested greatly in mental health and well-being. I was also on a show, the Chrissy B show, for a long time. I think probably about 8 years, and it's basically mental health and well-being and sharing. And you know, it's all about trying to find joy in your life, and various things. My background was casting. I don't do as much of that now, and I studied photography at St Martin's, and it was sort of around I was sourced internally, really, to start doing royal things. And that's when I started working with Ian. And it just feels like it was, goodness me, it feels like it was like 20 years ago. What is it? We were. I need to get to the bottom of what the exact date was, but I know that we did some various photography things, didn't we, within my casting, which was funny in itself. But then obviously moved over to the role side, and it's just grown since then. I mean, it's great to be contacted by so many different platforms for my opinion on things. I mean, even today, it was GB News that contacted me, but in fact yesterday I couldn't do it. But that was just to talk about the new King of Denmark, King Frederik, and just the synergies between the UK and Denmark and how things are going to continue. You know, and lovely, you know, Fox News, NBC, I'm just trying to think of all there's so many different channels, and it's exciting. Of course, USA Global TV and Radio, our favourite channel. And it's been lovely working with you, JACALYN.
Thank you. Thank you. It's truly an honor. I'd love just to have both of you share a little bit for people who are on our team, or people who have been our guests, or people who are sponsors, or people who don't even know who we are. You are on some of the biggest channels in the world. Why are you on this channel with us?
Shall I start off?
Oh, yeah, okay, if you want to. I was just going to say, we always, I think for me, JACALYN, on discovering your ambition, I just thought it was amazing. I love your ethos as well, with well-being and or your platform. Anyway, this was as it was, and I just, when we started working with you, you're ambitious, you're so tenacious and hardworking, and I could see that what you were doing is something that myself and Ian talk about and have talked about for years. So, you know, sort of traveling with you is a blessing. And even now, you know, things are getting bigger and better. And it's very exciting to work with you. And it's been over a period of, is it 2 years, JACALYN? I can't think now. Me and my timings are not good. And you've achieved so much. And we like to work with people like you who want to achieve, that work hard, and keep to your word as well, which is really, really very important.
Well, thank you, Helena. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
And I think in reality, probably one of the most exciting things that happened in 2023, we actually met.
Yes, we did. In Orlando, Florida.
In Orlando, Florida. There was I, and it was quite emotional. You know, I had to give a speech to these were some of the most prominent businessmen in Florida. And just literally before I was asked on stage, you walked through the door, and we'd never, although we talked and we knew each other so well, to give you a hug and to sort of welcome you as well was something else. And I climb up on stage, and I'm feeling quite emotional. This is not the easiest thing for for me to do. And people always say, well, you know, do you have a script when you go up on stage to do a speech? And no, I don't. You know, I sort of get up on stage, and whatever comes into my head is what I talk about. And so, you know, I stood on stage, I got the microphone ready, and there's this big, you know, screen behind me with, you know, with me talking as well. And I'm looking at something like about 500 women as well. And I looked around the room and I said, isn't life wonderful? And it's true, because, you know, the reality is, when you're able to make all your dreams come true, that's an incredible feeling to actually have as well. And when you want to sort of have a situation where the values that you have are shared by other people as well, who have the same dreams, the same ambitions, the same professionalism as well. You know, both yourself and Helena, you know, you're two of the top professionals, you know, and I think the reality a lot of the time is that when we're working together, and we're going to be working together more this year, and we're planning new things. And I want to ask you, what are you going to be doing in a minute from a business point of view? Because I know some of the exciting things that are already happening. And, you know, I don't know whether I'm giving away a secret, but you called me about 2 hours ago. Yeah, and you were so excited about something, you couldn't hardly get the words out. That's the excitement. That's the thrill. That's the values that you bring to everybody who you work with as well. And so you're a tremendous person.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to start crying. The two of you, stop. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I think what people don't realize is when you have a dream, it takes people believing in you for that dream to come true. And you two have believed in me, as well as some of the other team members we have here. And so my goal is never been single focused. It's always been, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, to build this to the point where I don't even matter. I'm not even relevant. It's freestanding so that people can continue to come here long after I'm gone. And so we started out focusing on education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. And that's still what we're about. But what I realized as an entrepreneur myself is that entrepreneurs need exposure. And they need to be able to tell the world what it is they can do to help them. How can they bring value? And this medium is unbelievable. You know, I'm not going to go into specifics, but part of what I was excited about today, Ian, was I decided to do something that took me somewhere that I wasn't planning on going. And I went there and I saw something and my eyes flew open. And I spoke to the owner and I said, tell me about this. And then he told me, and then I made a phone call and the person said, actually, we're interested in this. And you said, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how this all came together. And so I called you and I said, we're going to go from this to this. It's unbelievable. It's like the heaven opened up and just started, here's opportunity. And it's for everyone. And so I couldn't do what it is I'm thinking of doing without the two of you, without your support, without your belief and your guidance. Everyone needs mentors. And from you mentoring me and continuing to do so, I'm mentoring other people. And it's such a good feeling. So with that all being said, USA Global TV and Radio, where we are now, and by the way, I want to just bring this up. I put it up in the beginning, but this is where we are now seen and heard on, from one platform to all of these platforms. We're supposedly live streaming on our website right now, VIVEK promise. I don't know if it's true, but hopefully it is. And then all of these other platforms, and there's more to come. And so, Ian, you and I know, because we just discussed it, Helena, I'll fill you in. I can only make one phone call at the time. So anyway, what do you think is the importance of having these types of badges? I mean, I think it's critically important, but I'd love to hear from the two of you for our audience. And how does that extend to business owners?
Okay. Basically in America especially, and it's something that I think everybody who's listening to this show and all the businesses need to adhere to as well. In America, badging, as it's called, is very, very important. Badging, like the badging that you've just created, the graphic that you've just created, if they are put that at the top of their masthead on their websites, it actually shows to people who are landing on that front page in the first instance, that it gives them really a feeling of, well, if it's been seen on television, it must be good, it must be okay, it must have value. And so really, you know, that's one of the first values, and there's so many more values that I know USA Global TV are going to bring to businesses here, but it's much more focused now. And the focus, first of all, is that if people are landing on a website, whatever the service may be, and they see, as seen on television, as seen on USA Global TV, all the other channels as well, it gives people confidence to actually go further, scroll down, and contact the people concerned at the same time. And this is a tried and tested advertising technique that works extremely well. So I'm very pleased that you've created something like this, and perhaps you're able now to share that graphic for people who want to take on your services as well, because in reality, the future of television is things like USA Global TV. It is fast channels. That's why Helen and I have very much gone into fast channels as well, and supporting you in this venture at the same time, because the reality with the fast channels is it has over 300 million potential audience. That is the audience you need to talk to. That's where businesses need to talk to nowadays as well. And with the other techniques that I know that you're thinking about, and the business plans that you're thinking about, this will bring tremendous value. The one thing you've got to do is buy into it in the first place.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for explaining that about badging. I have another question, but Helena, would you like to add something about badging?
I mean, gosh, Ian, you explained that very well. Thank you very much. I mean, really, it to me, as seen on TV, means everything. And if you are a small business, as a lot of your clients will be, it's enable them, they're going to be seen on all these different platforms, and it gives credence and authenticity. I mean, there's all these different things, and people are going to, it basically, businesses from small will slowly grow, and that's so important. And especially at a tough time like now, we all want to see businesses starting, and these can be new businesses, and businesses flourishing, and in turn the ripple effect. We need that growth, and with your badging technique and what you offer, Dr. JACALYN, this will enable people to achieve this.
Thank you, Helena. Very well put. So a question I have, and I've not spoken to either of you about this, this is totally authentic, is we have people here who've been here for a long time, and then we have people who come and people go. And some feedback I'll hear, we haven't lost very many people, probably just a handful, maybe more, since we started. But what I've heard from them is, well, I have a podcast on Instagram, and I'm just going to do that. And to me, that's great. Go ahead, and we're on Instagram right now. But here we have a community. We have a group of people who are collaborating, who are mentoring, who are supporting. And at the same time, we're on all these various platforms. But what is the value, if any, of going off on your own and doing an Instagram reel or podcast?
Well, I mean, personally, I think great. Yes, we can all do that, and that's fine. But it's not going to give you it's not going to give a business necessarily what they want. That is just a tiny little bit of what they want to achieve. And I think having a group that you can connect to, and being able to promote yourself to so many different platforms, is worth a huge amount as compared to just Instagram, which I know that we can all do. We can all put something out, but it's not going to be the professionalism. You're not going to have the same help. And not to forget, when you're part of a group of people who all want to achieve the same thing, you can always, if you're not sure about something, or you're not sure if something's working, you can talk to people, and ask questions and get advice and be mentored. And that is worth a huge amount. I think sometimes to go off on your own, it's okay. Obviously, it's a choice, but I think people haven't really, if that's the case, haven't really thought it through. And definitely what you have, especially now with the badging, is terrific. Why wouldn't people want to be part of it?
Absolutely. Thank you. It's interesting because as you mentor me, I take that mentoring and I share it with others. And I think one thing is that a person has to be coachable. If I wasn't coachable, if you were giving me feedback and information, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing. Well, yeah, you're always going to be the same place where you were. Ian, what do you want to say?
Yeah, I think we've talked recently about this. My concept in life, and along with Helena as well, I want to be the gatekeeper in the field, not in the field itself. So having a podcast is fine, but how many podcasts are there around the world? What's the chance of any more than a handful of people listening to that? Unless you're extremely well known in the first place, and the way to get extremely well known is be on television as well. Why on earth would people want to listen to you at all? And so, when it comes strictly to business, and I know this year you're going to have a much more emphasis on help to build businesses, their branding, their messaging, all sorts of things that will actually give further support to business as well through USA Global TV and the other projects that we're collectively talking about as well. So the reality at the moment is, if you want to win big. Helen and I win big in reality, because it's taken us probably about 14 years. We've done over 3,000 shows, and nowadays we're seen as royal commentators across the world. Whenever there's major royal events, but we are full on, as you can imagine, and that's down to hard work, the type of enterprise that is really necessary to actually make things work as well. And that's what you, JACALYN, have got in bundles. You've got that value. First of all, you've got that drive, you've got that ambition, like ourselves. This year we are going to, I hope, create even more value for businesses across the world, with ourselves, helping with the people like yourself as well. And there will be a situation developing where there should be a case of, don't think why I should do something anymore, just do it. Because if you don't, you will see your business disappear in front of your very eyes. There's going to be massive changes in business this year, and we intend to be a massive support system along with yourselves to actually help businesses survive this financial period in the world's history.
Wow, I got chills when you spoke about that. That's what you two have done. What you are doing is priceless. And I've noticed that many of the mainstream magazines here in the States, even a lot of them are online, they have an entire section dedicated to the royal family. What do you think it is, or why do you think it is that we are so in love with the royal family?
Well, we want people to be in love with the royal family. We really do. I see them. They're a center stage. They can do so much in a softly approach, and we don't want things to be. We do, as again we're talking about. We want things to be positive. We want things to go well. As we know, there are lots of, along with the economy and everything going on, there's problems within the royal family as well. And we're rooting for them. We're rooting for things to move on, and for we're hopeful. I'm hopeful. Put it this way. I find them inspirational, and I do think we do need our royal family. I don't know. I mean, I could speak about the royals for a long time, but also, everybody wants somebody to look up to, I think. And we've got great, things like Princess Kate. Everyone loves her, fashionistas. I mean, they're working now on wonderful projects, Prince and Princess of Wales, as they all are, and bringing so much hope and positivity to everybody.
And I think as well, it comes from childhood, doesn't it? One of my best friends, she's got a 6-year-old daughter, and she started calling her daughter Princess Mia. Antonina, one of my great Italian friends. And then Mia turned around the other day, she said, "No, Mummy," she said, "I'm not a princess." She says, "I'm a queen." I'm a queen. And basically, so being a queen means it's going to cost Antonina more money, because we have a tradition in Britain, I don't know whether it happens across the world, where when a child loses a tooth, the tooth fairy comes, and I used to get what would probably a dime in American money under my pillow if I lost a tooth. And this was the tooth fairy. And Antonina said to her mother the other day, she said, "Mummy, I'm a queen now. Okay, yeah. So she said, basically now the tooth fairy has got to have folding money given to it instead. Now, so you start, and I'm thinking, where all this really starts is that when your children, and especially perhaps young girls, they all have this vision of being a princess. They are to their fathers in the first place. And so I think that's where the tradition first starts, where you can listen and feel like a princess in the first place. And so then as you grow, you see the royal family, or a prince or a princess or a king, as someone who emulates all the good things in life, you know, all the positive things, all the things that you can trust. And it's like trusting your father, that then you can trust the king or the prince as well. And there's obviously the stories about some women think of themselves as frogs, and then a prince kisses them and they turn into a princess. I love all of that. You know, I'm just as much a romantic as as we talked about everything else. And I think it's so important right now. And Helen and I discuss this all the time. You know, the values of the royal family. What actually it is meant by that. And let's be honest, Helen and I, we laugh at times because obviously we get so many questions from TV channels on the back of the Crown. I mean, this Netflix series, I swear to goodness, I don't know where they got their information from. I was watching it recently, and I was laughing. I was actually laughing at what they thought was the truth behind the royal family. I mean, I was having to sort of curtail my laughter because I think people might have been hearing why I was laughing so much about watching this series. It reminds me of John McEnroe. You cannot be serious.
So the two of you actually know what took place. I mean, I don't know anything, but I watched it and I was laughing thinking, wow, they really took some leeway there. They made some assumptions in that part. That's what came across for me.
Well, it's strange, and Helena will probably talk to you. I mean, one of the first things we got was Mrs. Middleton. Helena, tell the story about what Mrs. Middleton thought that she'd done.
So basically, Carol Middleton, so that's Princess Kate's mum, had orchestrated the relationship between her daughter and Prince William, and that it was really down to her that they got together, and she'd done all these tactics to bring them together, and she's been compared to the Jenner. Was it the mother in the Jenner family? I can't remember her name. Anyway, but it was taken so seriously, and you think, really, what is going on here? It is hilarious, but people are interested. The interest is, I mean, really, our royal family, they're sort of world cultural icons, and they really are. And let's not forget the history as well of all our palaces and things that go back years and years. We're very lucky here in Great Britain to have a wonderful history, and people come and they want to see, come to the UK, Great Britain, and they want to see the palaces, they want to learn more, and I think that's lovely that we have all this rich tapestry of history.
I mean, when people come to London, and we want Americans to come back. So this is a message to America, first of all. Come back. We need your dollars. We need your vitality, because in reality, when I used to just work in newspapers and working in London as well, 11 o'clock in the morning, we always used to dodge Buckingham Palace. Because it could be snowing, it can be raining, it could be the end of this world, and about 15,000 people will be stood outside Buckingham Palace watching changing of the guard and to see whether any of the royals come in and out at the same time. It has this fascination for people as well. And great, because it's good for us. You know, heritage and culture is so important. One of the things that when we were talking to our two new young Chinese influencers was that the Chinese love the heritage and the culture of the royal family. They respect it, you know, and that's probably one of the inroads at the moment. And for me, you know, looking at the excitement of how we can actually open up new communities, because a lot of the time when we've tried to work with China in the past, we've been both Helen and I have worked with Chinese television, you know, the national Chinese television as well, but it's almost like a closed shop. And the reality is people talking to people, that's what creates peace in this world. That's what creates prosperity in this world. And that's where USA Global TV can actually be a massive part of people being able to talk to other people. We connect together. I always say it's politicians who cause problems, not broadcasters, you know, and TV channels. And so we will be nowadays creating the ability to be talking right across time zones, travel zones and everything, to actually create a culture that has so much value for everyone.
So exciting. There's so much going on. I can't wait. Thank you both. I want to, before you leave, I want to introduce you to another one of our team members because her role is critically important. And then I have something very special for the two of you before you go. So don't go anywhere yet. Joining us now is Heather Joy. She is our producer and she is our social media marketing genius. Heather has helped me so much and we've just scratched the surface of what it is that she's going to be doing. So let's bring her on. Hello, Heather Joy. Nice to see you. Hi. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm in West Virginia today.
West Virginia. Well, you know what's so interesting how life is. One of our team members, Ann Scotland, is working with Heather. And I said to Ann, I love how professional you are, how you show up. Who's helping you? And she's like, Heather Joy. So here Heather Joy is our official team member at USA Global TV and Radio. Heather, you've already produced shows. I remember shortly after my mother passed away last year, I think it was in September, you and I had some training sessions and it was on a Friday. And I said, you know what? Something's come up. I really need you to jump in. And you went and took charge. I wasn't even backstage. I was watching my phone and I just started to cry. I was like, I'm so excited that Heather Joy is an incredible producer. And I can't tell you what kind of peace of mind that brings.
I'm so glad to hear that.
It's tremendous.
Makes me proud. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So for our audience who's here today, and then I'm going to ask Helena and Ian to just talk about producers and production and why it's so important. What is it? What is the value that you can bring to people who are watching, to entrepreneurs?
So my catchphrase you would say used to be put the joy back into running your business. Little play on words because of my name, but basically, I just started out, wanting to help entrepreneurs to do the important things. Like they were spending so much time doing the repetitive tasks in their business that could be outsourced. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like it made me feel like I was a part of something bigger to help, people get to where they want to go. And it helped me get to where I want to go. I've learned so much. I've been doing this type of work for almost 4 years. So I've learned everything that I know, self-taught and from each client that I've had. I've learned something from everybody. So it's been a really rewarding experience for myself, and I make it a rewarding experience for my clients also. Got into mostly doing a lot of social media management, content creation, and now podcast production.
Well, we are thrilled to have you on the team. Thank you so much, Heather Joy. And your contact information is there for people to reach out. Helena and Ian, you've worked with countless tens of hundreds of however many producers in your career. What do you think are some of the attributes of a standout producer?
Well, I mean, first of all, the word joy. As you know, Jacqueline, I have a story for every occasion. So do you want to hear my joy story? So
Sure.
this is something that about 20 years ago, there was a lady, and there was a massive comedy show in Britain called The Vicar of Dibley. And it was based on a real life female vicar called the Reverend Joy Carroll. And what an absolute name, you know, for and especially a Christmas story as well, you know, for people to have. And so I went to visit the Reverend Joy Carroll, and Joy can actually break down barriers and all sorts of things. And so I'm walking around her parish, and her parish is probably in one of the most deprived areas of London. You know, it's drug addicts, it's all sorts of things. And so we're walking around and we're taking some photographs. And then in the distance, there's this bar with very, very, very loud music coming out of it. And I said, oh, let's go in there. Oh, she said, oh, no, she can't go in there. Can't go in there. She said, that's where all the drug dealers are. I said, oh, come on. So anyway, so we open the door and the music stops. This is like a scene from a cowboy movie. The music stops and everybody freezes as they see me with cameras around my neck and the Reverend Joy Carroll with her dog collar on as well, walking in, and everybody freezes because they don't know what to do. And then fortunately, one of the drug dealers was a parishioner of her as well. And they said, oh, hello, Reverend Carroll, come on in. And the music started up again and everybody moved. So in that precise second, it just shows you how joy can break down barriers. And I think, you know, the thing that is necessary right now is as much positive messaging comes out as possible, as many different ways as comes out as well at the same time. But a lot more, as Jacqueline, you'll be doing this year, there'll be a lot more focus from your business side of it to actually help other businesses get their message right, get their values right, get their focus right as well at the same time.
It's super important if you're lucky enough to have a producer on board. It is worth, so much, because we know how long it takes to produce quality material. That's all the tiny intricacies to actually then build this final presentation or podcast or whatever you put out, and to have a producer help you along the way is worth so much. Trying to do everything yourself, I mean, really, you're just working 24/7, I would say.
Yeah, so true. And just that moment, Heather, when I just sat and started crying. And the funny thing was, I had no one to share with at that moment, but I just was so so relieved, as a business owner. It's like, oh my gosh, here's someone whom I can trust, who knows what they're doing. Because basically, when we are entrepreneurs, we're giving our brand. We're handing our brand to our team members and saying, hey, I'm hoping that you're going to protect this because it's taken a lot to get it to where it is. And so you're just a superstar. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Those are such kind words. Thank you.
And can I just say again, I mean, Jacqueline, you're exactly right. And Heather, and Helena, exactly the same thing. I think we all learn from each other all the time. We were talking the other day, Jacqueline, and how the first show in our series has changed to where we are now, and we introduce new things, we try new things out. behind the scenes, Helen and I argue a lot.
No.
No, we don't.
JACALYN completely understands, let me tell you.
Helen and I have talked as well, so there.
I think over the years, I think producers have sometimes, I was going to say separated us. No, they don't. In reality, teamwork is the biggest thing of the lot to actually have. Teamwork and the value of actually having the ambitions and then getting other people's advice coming in and so forth. And you learn so much. And just another very quick story about presenters and producers. In my early days, when I first started working in television, my arms would be flapping all over the place. I was like a windmill. And then a producer or one of the channels said, from now on, just relax the hand movements, because otherwise, it doesn't look right for television. So producers have an extremely extra sense of perception of how to present something properly, and how to create that professional value for any production.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that. I know for myself, when we meet backstage 10 minutes before the show, any show, whatever it is, and there's someone new who hasn't been to the platform, I have certain things that I have to do. Heather, you know how it is. And everybody's talking and you're like the evil witch, because you have to jump in and say, wait a minute, there's some things that we have to do before we go live. So you also have to be in the people management business as well, I think.
Very true.
Yeah. So, well, I'm super excited that you were all here today. Before you go, I do have something for Helena and Ian. And by the way, when I was putting this together, and Heather, you're witness to it now, this is for both of you. So even though it has one person's name or the other, it's really both of you have earned both of these things. But I didn't want to have a big, long, stretched out thing, if that makes any sense. So, dun-da-da! This year's 2023 Key Contributor Award is proudly presented to Helena CHARD. Helena has earned the 2023 Key Contributor Award. She continuously provides content at the highest level of professionalism. Helena stands out as a world-class broadcaster because her heart shines through in all her work. There you go.
That's so lovely. Thank you so much. I would cherish that. What a lovely surprise. Thank you.
Well, I wanted you to be surprised. So.
I think much deserved as well, because I think, that Helen and I have worked together for
so nice.
Years. And she is the most professional person, I think, over that period that I've met and worked with. The values that Helena brings is one of she can cut through to the chase at times, but I think at the same time she's got a heart of gold as well, and
thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you all. Yay.
You're welcome.
Really exciting.
And the 2023 Global Reach Award is proudly presented to Ian Pelham Turner. Ian is an international TV broadcaster with a history of over 3,000 shows. Now, this is where I said, Helena, this can apply to you as well. And specializing in the royal family, politics, and promoting Great Britain. And Ian, you and I were talking, I think it was yesterday, about how many countries the two of you have broadcast through. So this Key Contributor and Global Reach Award go to both of you. You're recipients of 2 awards. So
absolutely. And bless your heart again. And what can I say? I'm embarrassed.
I think what I'll do is I will put both your names on there. It'll be a little bit longer, but yeah. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here, Heather. I really want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day. And thank you for being part of USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you for having me, for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Bye for now,
you.
Heather. And bye, Helena and Ian. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you
Lovely. What a
soon.
lovely end.
Eat more bagels. Eat more bagels.
That's right.
Have a bagel.
Bye for now. All right, as we start our second hour, I want to give a shout out to the Spin District in Boca Raton, Florida. Are you a Florida resident? Are you a visitor to Florida? Are you a snowbird or a snowflake? Get your spin on with us at the Spin District in the Royal Palm Plaza. It is a beautiful boutique studio in a fabulous shopping area. You can get your spin on, then you can have a lovely meal, and then you can do some shopping. Let's take a look at the Spin District. There you go. And I'm spinning there this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we're starting our second hour, and we have two of our team members backstage. I'm going to bring them both out, and we'll have a conversation. First, we have the lovely, vivacious Caroline HEWARD. She is the Harley Street stress expert. She's been with me since the very beginning. She is the host of A Woman's Prerogative. She's also an expert presenter on Talking Heads, and she's the star of the Listening Mentor Show. Let's bring her out. Hello.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, I'm rocking it from London. I love it.
There's a lot of things that I'm doing there.
You're a busy bee. So thank you for being here today. We're going to also welcome Joseph Stetter, who's the resume whisperer and corporate culturalist. And this is kind of a cool thing. Joseph found us the good old fashioned way through Google, just did a Google search, was here last year for the reunion show, and now has his own television show. And he's helped over 11,000 people find gainful employment. Joseph Stetter, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello, and thank you for having me. What an honor and a pleasure.
It's absolutely wonderful to see you. And as you're both speaking, a huge dragon just went across outside. Anyway, I digress. So, Caroline, you are in the good old UK, and Joseph is in Canada. And I'm just thrilled to have both of you. Have you met each other before?
I think we were at the reunion show at the same time last year as well. It worked out.
Wow, how about that? That's pretty interesting. Well, I'm not sure if either of you heard about what it is we're doing in this coming year now, the 2024. In addition to providing education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration, our focus is really on the small business owner and giving that business owner the tools they need, the visibility they need, one of which is what we call, which is known as badging. And so our team members will all have the ability to have these badges, if they're appropriate for what you're doing here, on your website, on your LinkedIn, wherever it is that you want to share them. So we'll be talking more about that later. Okay, Joseph, I see that you were joined by someone. Who do you have there?
This is my beautiful son. He's a little bit sick today, so he's very I need some attention and loving.
Hello. I see the family resemblance right away.
Thank you.
Daddy's going to get you a job very soon. So, okay, so we're going to start off this hour. Caroline, you are booked in first. Tell our audience about the work that you do as the Harley Street stress expert, and then also tell our audience anything that you want about your experience here. You just be candid and share what you want to.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN. It's always an absolute honor and a pleasure to be here with you and celebrating a reunion. I want to start by talking about what I've got from here, because what I've got from USA Global TV leads very nicely into where I am now today. And when I first came on the show, it was an introductory interview, and it was July 7/7/21. And my wonderful mentor, Philip Chan, recommended me and referred me to Dr. JACALYN. And I was very nervous, and I kept putting it off to the point that Philip Chan, my mentor, went completely ballistic at me, and he says, just get this done now. So I did.
And I was feeling that I didn't have enough content. That was my excuse. I didn't have enough for live TV. And that's why I put it off. Well, we're now a few years later down the line, and I've still got tons of content. So that feeling that I had when I initially came to be on USA Global TV has changed dramatically. And now I am, taking the official title of TV presenter, whereas I wasn't that before and didn't even think that that was possible. So this is a huge, huge deal for me, because now when I introduce myself to people in my stress management work, I'm saying TV presenter. And that suddenly takes my elevation of who I am and what I do to a totally different level. And so what am I getting out of this? Tons. I can't believe how much credibility that I have managed to gain in being on USA Global TV and having the alliance and the relationship with USA Global TV and E360 TV and Dr. JACALYN. It's completely changed my life for the better. And now, instead of being face-to-face, I'm more or less online, on screen, and very much in the social media platforms. There is tons of videos that I've produced with Dr. JACALYN and USA Global TV and Radio and E360 TV, which is on the Amazon platform. And so 2 years ago, in July 21, that didn't even seem incomprehensible. It was incomprehensible to me that that's where I would be. So now I'm on social media, broadcasting live. I didn't even think I could do things like that. So these are huge, huge challenges for me when I first started. And now they've become part of me. I don't want to leave. I can't leave. I don't know how I could leave here unless Dr. JACALYN stops. I have to make sure I always have the funds to come here and the time, because other things have cropped up. I'm now in an extraordinary collaboration with a nurse working on a course online. And that's come out of me being featured regularly on social media on my own shows with Dr. JACALYN as co-host in The Listening Mentor, my own talking head shows. So these are things that, instead of me only being myself and one-to-one, I'm now one-to-many, and more people are getting access to my work and help for stress, anxiety, and depression, and all manner of physical, emotional, behavioral symptoms of stress. One of the things that I wanted to do was to reach more people. I never in a million years thought being on TV would be an option or a thing that I would do. So from my perspective, this has completely changed my life for the better. I'm now getting ready, putting my makeup on and making sure that my screens are ready and my lights are ready. I never ever thought that I would be making a studio in my living room. That's what's happened. And that's because I've moved with the times. I've moved with our digital times, and I've moved a long way from where I used to be pre-21, and now where I am is in a totally different space. That collaboration with the nurse would never have happened, and I'm very excited about that, and what that will bring to my work and to the way that I can reach more people and help more people in producing an online stress management course, and also the reach that I can actually gain from being on these various platforms, social media. Who could not say yes to being on this platform when there is so much reach? Now, that's taken quite a bit of the time that I had available, and I felt that it was absolutely integral to what I have to say today. One of the things that I want to do is to play my part to create world peace. That's my mission, that's my goal. And what happens when you're that clear on your goal and your mission and your purpose for life is that things and opportunities come into your life that may not have happened previously unless you're really clear. Now, in order to reach more people and help more people become more relaxed and more peaceful internally, It's a moving from head to heart. Head is where the stress resides. Heart is where the inner peace, inner joy, inner wisdom, and inner sanctum of compassion resides. And that is my mission and my purpose. So I get given a platform. And this is unbelievable because I'm now reaching more people. And with these videos and these transmissions, because that's what I call them, they're transmissions, what I have is the ultimate level of gratitude. Now, when we are grateful for something, and I truly mean grateful from our heart of gratitude, we get more of what we're grateful for. And when we forgive ourselves, when we truly step into a place of forgiveness of what we can't do, what we didn't do, what we did to somebody else, that hurts us, that demobilizes us, when we move into a place of forgiveness. The forgiveness isn't that somebody did something bad to you and therefore you can't function because you're really angry. Forgiveness is for yourself. For yourself in terms of how you responded and how you reacted. And then you don't respond and react or suffer from that incident, that event, that circumstance or situation. And what happens is truly blissful. It's truly peaceful. Forgiveness and gratitude are the two things that I feel in abundance right now. We are only 2 weeks into January, and yet my movements in this 2 weeks have been tremendous. I've achieved and done so many things that I haven't had time to sit, to blink, and to literally look at what I have been doing. And I want to offer one final thing as an offering, an invitation, and that is a gratitude jar. And I've just started mine. I put a post on my Facebook wall saying every week to post, to write a little note about what I'm grateful for. We've had 2 weeks now, and I've got 2 notes in my jar of what I'm grateful for. And by the time you get to the end of the year, you will have 52 weeks, sorry, not days, 52 weeks of gratitude notes. And when you are grateful for whatever it is that you are really accepting into your heart, when you're truly grateful, more happens. And you bring in more of what you're grateful for. So I'm going to continue this practice every week without fail, and write a little note and pop it into my jar. And then at the beginning of next year, I'm going to open up the jar and read all the things that I'm grateful for. It's an incredible ritual to do and practice because it makes you reflect and it moves you into a place of inner peace, inner heart, inner compassion, and inner joy. I'm Caroline HEWARD, the Harley Street Stress Expert, TV presenter, and so grateful for everything that I have been given from this platform. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN.
Woo! Thank you, Caroline. That was beautiful. Was that all off the cuff? You just flowed out of you naturally.
Yes, I hadn't got an idea what I was going to talk about. I only had 2 words, forgiveness and gratitude.
You did that very well. I think that's like a Toastmaster exercise where you get a topic and then you just go into it. But I have some great news for you and for Joseph. Actually, 2 things. In addition to you both being TV presenters, you're also expert correspondents from your country. So you can add that to your list and put that on your LinkedIn.
Oh, wow.
And the other thing, I know, the other thing that came to me was what a great collaboration you and Joseph and Caroline can have together, because Joseph is helping people get employment and people are completely stressed out. They need to calm themselves down before they go through the interview process or through in that career. So I'd love for the 2 of you to connect and see what you can come up with there.
That's a great idea. What do you reckon, Joseph?
Joseph, you're on mute.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, no, I was listening and letting it. So I think it's a great idea. I mean, a lot of what Caroline says, I 100% agree with in terms of gratitude for it, and just kind of recognizing that there's always a light. There's always something that you can focus on that's better. And, even the toughest experiences help us prepare us, help us level up. We don't understand why they're happening, but we definitely can use them to level up. So I'll definitely exchange information, Carolyn, and we'll have a conversation on how we can do a collaboration.
I love connections. Makes me so happy. All right, Joseph Stetter, expert correspondent from Canada. What say you, my friend?
Well, again, part of what I do is to help both the individual land their dream job and for companies to create a culture that celebrates their people by hiring the right fit people and then implementing strategies to keep them. So I think that as a society, we've kind of become so dependent on technology that we've forgotten the importance of the human connection. And I think that we need to go back to the human connection, because as much as some of these AI tools are fantastic and can automate a lot of stuff, you're not working with a robot, you're working with a human, and you're producing results, whether it's business to business, business to consumer, business to government, where people are going to interact with what you do. So I think it's very important to have that. And again, I think that when done correctly, things can be very exciting. Small little changes can make huge differences, not only in individual job searches, but in companies' overall return on investment and productivity, market share, because not enough executives practice what Carolyn said in terms of gratitude. There's too much management rather than leadership. Leadership has a mentality of lifting everybody around you. So even if you lose your job, that's okay, because as a leader, you want to lose your job. Because if I've done my job correctly as a leader and people are replacing me, that means that I either got promoted in the company to something bigger and better. And even if I didn't and I lost my job, the fact that I'm such a good leader will open new opportunities for me where they'll appreciate my vision, my strategy, my ability to communicate. So, management is always worried about losing that. They're always stressed. They're always kind of worried about themselves and not the people around, not the team. So those are, I would say, that the key things that we need to bring back: the human factor, create cultures that celebrate people, and remind people that no matter what they've gone through, they have a genius. They were put on this earth for whatever reason by whatever higher power that they believe in, to solve a problem or it's an issue that the divine kingdom needs, in whatever that looks like.
Joseph, it sounds like you've got your team there. It's important to be a team player. I love what you just shared there. And
yeah, I have my kids around me. My son has,
well, it's a Sunday. It's family time. That makes sense, right? So a couple of things. Joseph, you have helped.
Yeah, you woke up a little bit congested, so.
Yeah, sorry, we have a time delay.
I think. Sorry.
I would love for you to share for people. You have your own show, The Resume Whisperer. It's on 8 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. And you also, in addition to helping the individual, you also work with organizations. So walk us through the difference there between what you look for when you're working with an individual, who is the perfect individual that you can help, versus working with a company.
So for the individual, it's writing their resume in ways that celebrate how great they are, teaching them how to interview in ways that help the company, how to optimize their job search in terms of employment agencies, job boards, LinkedIn, networking, and everything, salary negotiating, everything that they need. And it's more focused on them getting their foot in the door and them showing why not hiring them would be a mistake. On the corporate side, it's about helping companies understand that a job description today is not enough, because a job description more often than not is very generic and cookie cutter. And it's an overview of what you might need, but it doesn't address personality traits. It doesn't address technical skills. It doesn't address what will actually be done on the job. So, every job description in North America at least says, you're going to have other duties assigned. You're going to need to be a team player with excellent communication skills, interpersonal skills, and I don't think I've met very few companies that know how to define what that is. So it's a lot of subjective words that people think, oh, I need to customize my resume with those words. No, you need to show that you produce results that are going to impact the bottom line. From a company's perspective, just because somebody has a lot of education doesn't automatically make them the best person for the job. Just because somebody has a lot of designation doesn't make them the best person for the job. Just because someone has 30 years of experience might not make them the best person from the job. So part of what I do is sift through, if you've had a position open for, let's say, 5-6 months, why haven't you hired anybody? What's missing in the candidates that are applying to the role? Or what are some of the soft skills that you know? In addition to that, a lot of corporations preach culture, where they share that, they're all about people, they're all about working together. But then when you actually start working there or you read reviews in the company, they don't do any of it. So part of them is I help them create the strategy for corporate culture, but not only the strategy, but actually implement it. So, engaging employees through their social responsibility interest, engaging employees through their intrinsic values, understanding the different types of personalities, and understanding how to define the expectation or communicate that. We live in a society right now where we have 5 generations working together. And each generation has a different communication style, and each generation has, we'll call it, a different experience and expectation of the workforce. So it's helping leadership put that together in a way that when they're communicating, the team is excited to do what needs to be done because they know what the direction is. They're clear on what their individual responsibilities are. They're clear on kind of how to do it. And most importantly, and I think this is the biggest piece of the part of, they're celebrated for creativity, for ingenuity, for, taking calculated risks that can help the company grow.
Excellent points. Thank you so much, Joseph. You have extensive experience. Caroline, what is the job market like there in the UK?
It's not very good. Hello.
Hello. So there are tough times there.
Yes. Yeah. There's high unemployment.
And stress management, this is the best stress management that you can have.
Absolutely. You're right. I frequently talk about babies and how innocent they are and how pure we all are as babies, and what changes in us when we start to age and things happen, and then we're told how to behave and what to do and what not to do, and then we change. But this is perfect. This is where we're born.
The new expert correspondent in Canada. So a question for you, Caroline. We were talking in the earlier hour with Ian and Helena about London, and I know electricity prices are skyrocketing, and there are a lot of people who don't have heat. So stress levels must be very high there.
Yes, very. And it's in the whole of the UK. In fact, if anything, the north part of the country is suffering more because a lot of people that were living in the south end of the country, London in particular, are really service workers. So they've just done their work. They're carrying on doing their work at home. But then there's a lot of people in the north that are actually going into factories and on site, and they've lost their jobs. So they can't do their work when they're at home. So they have to be on site. And there's a lot of companies that have literally disbanded. They've gone to the wall. They're not functioning anymore. There's a lot of companies that have just literally disappeared. And so in the north part of the country, there's less service and a lot more people that are on factory floor and on shop floor and actually on site in terms of their companies.
Thank you, Caroline. That's, it's good to understand what's going on in other parts of the world. I think for some of us, we're so heads down about where we are that we need to put our head up and see what's going on with humanity, what's going on in other parts of the world. So thank you for sharing that. Joseph, would you like to comment about the economy there in Canada? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry.
That's okay.
There we go. Sorry, delay there. I thought I pressed the mute. So I'm going to say that I think over the whole world is getting hit hard right now with stress and uncertainty and a workforce that's changing. Because one thing that the pandemic has proven is that, we can manage through a hybrid work model. It needs to change. But as I said earlier, if companies continue to do what they did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, where it's just, where's the money, work, no work-life balance, and they don't understand the importance of taking care of people, they're going to collapse. And so the companies that understand that and are willing to innovate and are willing to start implementing strategies to take care of their people and start appreciating, acknowledging, and accepting who they have and what they're contributing are the ones that are going to shine. And you can see that especially in the technology sector, where companies go out of their way to do nice things for their employees. And those are the ones, and those are the things that people remember. So, yes, technology can make things faster and easier and sometimes automated, but you still need humans to deal with a lot of aspects of the job. And therefore, it's important to get back to those values of going the extra mile, having this mentality of being of service and trusting that whatever you put out, the universe will give you 10 times back, and having faith that even though some people might take advantage of you today, you're aligning yourself for bigger and better, where people will understand your genius. Sometimes it's hard to explain it in a generic conversation. You need more than that. Like, I have clients where I just recruited that they're expanding from Europe into North America, and we had a few calls on what they actually need. And I sent them 8 possible candidates, and they looked at me and said, "We're ready to hire all 8 of them. We just don't have the budget for that, but you've nailed exactly what we want and better." And I think that's the difference, because it's not reading a job description. It's having the conversations about where are the gaps, where are the nuances, where are the things that a computer might not catch because the resume is generic or the profile is generic. And so companies that understand the importance of people, their people, will end up growing and hiring more, because everything will increase.
Thank you, Joseph. See, this is why we have experts like the two of you taking us into your country, telling us what's going on there. I really appreciate it. We have 2 other team members who are backstage. I'm going to bring them out, and then we have something special we're going to do, so nobody go anywhere. First, joining us, she's the author of this book. I'm just going to spotlight myself for a moment. Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Her name is TRACY CRAM Perkins, and this woman is a godsend. She was there for me through my mother's sickness and through her death, and she really helped me so much. My mother had dementia, and she's written this book. She's a 4-time survivor of caregiving from family members who had dementia, and this book has taken off. When she tells you about the number of books she sold, for any of us here who are authors, I'm looking, I sold a book this month, woohoo. Okay, she's got a completely different story. Let's welcome TRACY CRAM Perkins to the show.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for such a wonderful welcome, Dr. JACALYN.
Thank you, TRACY. So good to see you. Tell us where you're joining us from.
I am joining from Gig Harbor, Washington State. So it's outside of Seattle. So I'm on the Pacific Coast.
Okay. And by the way, I got a text from Tracy this morning at 4 something. I was getting ready to go to spin. I forgot to write back. I was like, she's up on a Sunday at 4 something. You have such a great work ethic, Tracy. It's amazing. We're going to be getting into your book and about your show that you have here, but let's welcome Mr. Red O'Loughlin, who is also, he's backstage. Red has become an integral part of my life. He is an incredible human being. Not only is he also a TV presenter like Tracy, you are, I forgot to mention that, but he is my book coach, and he's just a human being who goes above and beyond to be there for somebody. He frequently will send me emails about what he's done during the day, and I just feel so close to him and to his wife. They're a beautiful couple. They've been together, I think, 55 years. Let's welcome Red to the show. Hi, Red. Uh-oh, you're on mute.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Appreciate that. Howdy, y'all.
Hi, Red. Good to see you. Where are you joining us from today?
Houston, Texas area. A little nippier today, so I thought I would be a little bit more festive and at least mentally be in the mood.
I heard that it's in the 20s there. Is that true?
Well, in parts of Texas, it is down in single digits up in the north, but we're not quite there yet. We're not going to see any freezing temperatures until tomorrow. And I think we got about 24 hours of freezing one day and about 20 the next. So it's one of those things that does happen, but not near as bad as it was a while back. But there again, I've had 2 or 3 years here in a row where we didn't even get to freezing. So it's one of those cycles that the world goes through.
I know you like the hot weather, though, just like me.
I do.
For sure. Okay, before you and Tracy begin, I did put together a short video. I don't know if you saw it at the beginning.
If it makes you feel better, it's minus 15 here.
Oh my gosh.
That's cold.
That's freezing. I put together a short video that I'm going to show in just a moment in case you didn't see it in the beginning. But we have another award to give out today. And this award is the 2023 Trailblazer Award. It's proudly presented to Joseph Stetter. Joseph is the show host of Resume Whisperer. He continuously gives back to the global community in helping people find gainful employment. Joseph has helped over 11,000 people in their career search. Congratulations, Joseph Stetter, Trailblazer of 2023.
Thank you. What a great honor. Sorry, there's a delay in me pressing unmute, and my son is kind of like around here because he's a little sick today, so he's extra. I need attention type of thing. So I apologize. But thank you very much. What a great honor for me.
You are welcome. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to run this 2-minute clip so that for you who didn't see it before, you're going to see it now. It's the moment we've been waiting for. USA Global TV and Radio Reunion Show. We celebrate world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. And now we sell your vision. Celebrating 2 years together as we have crossed many milestones, including over 1 million authentic views in 2023. We have a global reach to help our global entrepreneurs. Today, we are celebrating our 2023 award winners, including TRACY CRAM Perkins, Keith Soltoyanes, Caroline HEWARD, Red O'Loughlin, Philip Sykes, Dr. Madeline Chan, Roland Friedel, Zane Carson Caruth, Katrina Valente, and Scotland. And today we'll be awarding 5 other team members for their accomplishments in 2023. 2024 is a year of evolution as we focus on business owners. Subscribe to our channel at USA Global TV. All right, congratulations to everyone. As you heard in the video, we saved 5 awards for today. We've already handed out 3, just to review. We have Ian Pelham Turner, congratulations. We have Helena CHARD, congratulations. And as we just saw, Joseph STETTER, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to continue the show with TRACY CRAM Perkins. TRACY, tell us about your work as a caregiver survivor for dementia home care, the author of this book that has literally blown the numbers away, and anything else you want to share with our audience about your work as an expert correspondent and television presenter.
Oh, thank you so much for the introduction. As Dr. JACALYN said, I am a 4-time dementia caregiving survivor. I started this journey because my father, who had Alzheimer's disease, asked me, what does it take to be treated like a human being? I didn't know at the time, and it took me a long time to learn. What he did was he gave me a catalyst. So it prepared me to write the book I have today. And I want to share information with you so that you don't have to search for it. So what I did with the book was I created it so that you could literally open the table of contents, run your fingers down that page and find the challenge of the day, turn to that page and find step-by-step instructions with a little bit of guidance, just so that you can tailor it to your family. So what I would like to do is share a few things for you, little tidbits that you might not know about right off the top. I want to talk to you about, first of all, is reality orientation. I wasted 1.5 years with my dad trying to bring him back to where I was, and he couldn't go there. And so what we ended up doing is my husband pointed out to me that it wasn't working clearly and that I needed to be in his shoes. And so once I figured out what was going wrong with him and that he could not meet me where I was. I didn't understand at the time that because of the Alzheimer's disease, his brain was literally shrinking and developing holes, and he could not bridge that gap. And so when I would ask him a question, he would answer with something completely different that wasn't what we were talking about, and it would drive me crazy. Once I figured out I had to go where he was, he couldn't be where I was, it made life so much easier because then I could help him with whatever was happening. We had fewer meltdowns, and I was also able to learn how to walk him through hallucinations. And so what we ended up doing, for example, we had a hallucination where my husband and I had taken him camping up in Canada, and we were in an RV, and we woke up in the middle of the night, and he was in the bed opposite us on the other side of the RV, so just about 3 feet away. He was looking at us like we were ghosts. He truly did not believe that we were real. He thought we were hallucinations until my husband touched him on the arm. And then he told us that he thought people were shooting guns outside, which is why he was awake. So my husband got up out of bed and walked outside to search around while I made sure that he was okay. It took a while to get him to calm down, but because we actually took the hallucination seriously and didn't tell him that it didn't happen, we just helped him get to a place of safety. It made it much easier for him to return to calm. And so I would recommend highly, if you've got somebody that has a hallucination, to walk them through to their place of safety. Another person I worked with recently, her husband was a high-ranking military official during Vietnam, and every time they would drive past the military base near their home, he would try to leap out of the car. He would try to leap out of the car while they were on the interstate in front of Olenta traffic, and she would have to race the car to the side of the road so that he wouldn't fall in front of oncoming cars. What we ended up doing is we ended up putting the child safety lock on the door, and then I also asked her if she remembered who he worked with, who his field commanders were, and she said yes. And so what we ended up doing is when that would happen, she would tell him that whoever that commander was had radioed in and said that they were doing mop up. And so it gave him the ability to relax. And she told him next that he would have the AAR on his desk. An AAR is an after action review. And so had that on his desk as soon as everything was cleaned up. What that did is, again, it gave him a chance to relax. He knew his plan worked, and he didn't panic that he wasn't at the front with them. So knowing how to work with someone to get them to that place of safety. Another thing I want you to think about is you never know when accidents are going to happen. And I'm not talking about car accidents. I'm talking about when people get scared or when they have an issue and they need to use the restroom. One of the best tools I ever found was on Google Maps, and that was for public toilets. If you can go to Google Maps and then search for public restrooms and then narrow it down to near you, it will give you access and also tell you the hours that those public restrooms are available so that you do not have to hunt and search, so you don't have to clean up accidents in the car. That was just a really great tool for me, and it really helped on many occasions. And I just wanna make sure other people are aware that it actually exists. Some other things that I just wanted to share with you, was also comes with somebody rummaging through drawers, you can, disguise the drawer so that they won't see it, or you can put on a child safety lock. Um, if we use colors, if you use something like a pastel, pastels are very difficult for someone to see. And so if you have and let me explain why. As we age, our eyes yellow and the lenses thicken. It also means we start losing some of the cones in our eyes that are color receptors. The largest one is red, the next largest is green, and the smallest is blue. The older we get, the more we lose them. So that means that if we have colors that they can see with bright contrast, then they'll be able to see it. So see an object for them to locate it on. Now with dementia, they get tunnel vision. So if you are using the colors, if you're using the colors such as red or bright blue against like a white backdrop, it'll make it easier for somebody to focus on something. If you use pastels, it washes out and it's hard for them to see it. So if you have like a pastel color over the top of a drawer face so that they can't see it, they're less likely to go in and rummage through and put things into their mouth when they're in the later stages of dementia. If you want them to find something, then the next thing is, let's say that they lose their walker or their cane regularly. You can actually create a little space for them where they can park it. So, and then have like a little placard with their name above it with like perhaps a handicap symbol saying reserved parking for insert your family member's name, and then a red space around it so that they can figure out where they put it. Once they realize that is their dedicated reserved space, they're going to defend that and they're going to make sure nobody else puts it. It's knowing how to create a space where they can visually see something. This also works with feeding. If you use a bright red or a bright blue plate, let me give you a little backdrop. My family well, they basically had trouble eating. They couldn't self-feed necessarily, and one of my mother-in-law ended up at Christmas or excuse Thanksgiving, um, not recognizing the food on her plate. When we had been eating our appetizers, my sister-in-law had these beautiful red plates. She had individual little snacks on there, and she was self-feeding. When we got to the dinner table, she had the larger dinner plates that were also in red, but on her plate were turkey, stuffing, gravy, and mashed potatoes. Everything was the same color. It looked like a giant blob. And what was happening is we all started eating dinner, and one of my in-laws said, "Well, why aren't you eating?" And she just looked at us And she kind of misty-eyed, almost crying, and she just kept shaking her head, and we didn't understand. She couldn't see the food or recognize the food. And it wasn't until later that I figured out if you put it on the plate in individual courses, starting, say, with a protein and then a starch, and you feed in courses, they can feed them cells longer because they can see the food on the plate. Um, Other little ideas that really worked for us, we were one of the things when we were taking my dad out is making sure that we had a what I call an emergency preparedness kit. In that kit, we had spare clothing, we had ways of cleaning up accidents, we had Pepto-Bismol because unfortunately for us, Unfortunately for us, there were times when, he would have, tremendous fears and then would soil himself, and so we needed something to be able to stop that because once it started, it became a serial problem, and so we were carrying Pepto-Bismol, hand sanitizers, ways to clean it up, spare packages of clothing, and then I recommend this for other people as well, carry a shawl or a blanket or something in case naked happens. Uh, Usually what happens is they start undressing, it's not to embarrass you, but it's because they have an unmet need. Usually it's they have to go to the bathroom or they're hungry. But bathing or going to the bathroom is usually the number one event. And so if it happens in a restaurant, you just have a shawl with you, you drape it over them, you get them into the bathroom out of the public eye, and then you can get everything taken care of and then get them redressed and back out. So it's just having little tools that you can use to make life easier for somebody. Now, another thing going back to colors, I learned about black. In my family, my father was the world's greatest Houdini. He could escape from anywhere. He was in a skilled care facility before he came to work with us, and he noticed that the plate glass window in his room had a flaw in how it was installed. He waited until his roommate left for physical therapy. He stayed in his pajamas and slippers. He unscrewed the window out of and then took it out of the frame and placed it outside, took the screws with him, put the plate glass window back and screwed it back in properly so no one could tell how he had escaped. There were no cameras pointed at his room, so they never saw him leave. And it wasn't until they came back to the room 30 minutes later that he discovered he was gone. They started getting calls to 911 about an elderly gentleman walking across Pacific Highway South headed towards Interstate 5 on ramp against the light in his pajamas and slippers. Fortunately for him, he had a very savvy sheriff who came to pick him up. And when he saw him, he said, "You look tired." And you have to realize he had walked 5 miles to get to this place. My dad And so the sheriff said to him, "Would you like a ride home?" And he said, "Yes, I would." And the sheriff said, "Have you ever been in a police car before?" He said, "No." "Well, get in the front seat. I'll tell you about the car." And they drove all the way back to the facility. When they got back, he explained to everyone how he escaped. He was very excited because it was the first time they treated him like an adult, like a human being. And then he showed them how he did it. He explained how to fix it, and they found that flaw in 30% of the building, which they then repaired. So when he got to my house, I happened to notice something really odd. I didn't like my husband and he tracking a bunch of mud into the house when they were working out in the garden in the springtime, and it's rainy and wet here. And so I put out black doormats, one on the outside of the door and one on the inside door to make sure that they wiped their feet properly. My husband came in first, wiped his feet, walked in. My dad looked down, turned around, and walked in through the garage instead of through the door. I thought, well, that's kind of weird. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. So I removed the doormat, thinking, okay, so he doesn't like the doormat. Um, And when I removed the doormat, he did come back in. So then I tried again. I placed it back out there, and the same behavior happened. He turned around and he walked back in through the garage. And then it dawned on me, okay, something's wrong with the doormat. And that's how I discovered that black looks like a hole. The minute I discovered that, it helped me to understand some of the other problems I was having, say with bathing. I didn't understand that he couldn't see the contrast. And so I also noticed that we needed to change the way our tub drain worked. worked because it looked like a hole to him. And so we covered that up and we were able to, or I shouldn't say covered, but we changed the way it looked so that it wasn't black. And then I got him a handheld shower because the other problem we had was he didn't like getting water in his face. Well, it turns out this is very common with people with Alzheimer's disease. He was afraid of drowning. And so with the handheld shower, we were able to get him to bathe. To get him to bathe, but I discovered also that I should not hand him the shower handle with it running because then I got to bathe too, which was rather funny afterwards. Anyway, the other thing we discovered is he couldn't see the shower chair because it was the same color as the rest of my bathroom, which was typically it was monochrome. It was almost all white and kind of a beige color. And so after I figured out that I could put a colored, like a bright blue towel on the toilet or the shower seat, he could find it. And then later, when we were having issues with inappropriate toileting, it was then a sudden aha moment that he can't see the toilet anymore, and he was going for the bright colors he could see. So, and then I found out, as several of my friends were telling me, that their parent were going into the potted plants, or so, because it was a bright green plant, they could see it and they thought in the middle of the night that's where they should go. So when we changed the color of the toilet seat and just using a red toilet seat, we were able to see, and he was able to see the toilet. But that didn't happen till almost the very end because it took me a while to figure out that it was only happening at night, but it was a problem. And I couldn't figure out when I was cleaning the bathtub why it looked the way it looked. It takes a while to figure these things out. Other things to think about if you're having the driving issue and your parents, if you don't feel safe with your loved one driving, there are things you can do, such as talking to their medical practitioner and let them be the bad guy instead of you being the bad guy. Have them say that, Maggie, I'm sorry you can't drive anymore. It's time to let your son or daughter take you to any place you need to go. If they still insist on driving because they don't remember that they've had their driver's license taken away, if their car is older than 2000 and it's a gas operated vehicle, you can literally remove the fuel fuse out of the car, and it will read like there's gasoline in the car, but the computer won't read that there's any fuel, and then it will not start the car. If you have an electric car, then you can use the emergency cutoff and just disconnect that from the battery, and the car will not start. They won't recognize how to start that back up, and most people don't even know where the fuses are in the car for the standard cars. So those are just a few ideas of things that you can do. So does anybody have any questions?
Tracy, just a wealth of information. I mean, I am blown away. Thank you. A question I have for you, because you are here with the guru of books, book coaching, and book publishing, Mr. Red O'Laughlin. How many copies of this book have you sold to date?
12,032.
Wow.
Wow.
And how did you make that happen?
I know it. Through a lot of combinations of things. The best thing for me was starting out was doing drip campaigns on Facebook, and I used Facebook ads for that. I also combined it with when they finally allowed independent authors to do advertising on Amazon. I found that Amazon ads were also inexpensive and fairly easy to use. And then I also did a drip campaign on a company called Publish Drive, where they would let me do like 30-cent bids. And in that point, I also used, and this is, if you guys have never heard of this, Publisher's Rocket by Dave Chesson. It is a fantastic way of mining data from KDP, so the Kindle Direct Publishing. And you can actually search for the keywords in your category. And it also gives you the opportunity to find the biggest books in your category and find out what they're using for their keywords, and so that you can target the keywords with sponsored ads. So those were the easiest things. And then interviews, which is why I want to thank Dr. JACALYN for making this possible, because you are part of my success story, a huge part of my success story. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. Well, Tracy, I think that you have earned every ounce of credibility that you have. You truly are the expert in just what you shared. And as I said, you personally were just so helpful for me when I would tell you my mom's doing this, she's doing that. And I'd be like, what are you doing? No, you don't do. So I had to undo everything I was doing. So thank you for all of the help that you gave to me during that time. Actually, all three of you were like my A team, the rock stars who I could lean on. So I thank you. All right, we are going to go on to Mr. Red O'Loughlin, but Tracy, we do have your contact information that is here on the screen. What else would you like to share? Who do you want to contact you?
Anybody that needs help with caregiving, I can at least point you in the right direction. If you are doing not a certified professional, I have just cared for 4 family members and done a lot of research. So if there's things that are stymieing you, please feel free to reach out to me, because I can probably point you in the right direction. It could be simply as replacing TV remotes or just changing wall colors or any of those things. I am happy to help.
All right. Thank you so much for the offer of help. We truly appreciate it. And you're welcome to stay. If you have to go, I understand. We're going to go over to Mr. Red O'Loughlin. Red is the TV show host for The Wise Ones, The Corner Bookstore, and he's also one of our expert presenters on Talking Heads, and he's our expert correspondent from Texas. Red, take it away.
Thank you so very much, Dr. JACALYN. I really appreciate that introduction. Let's see, 2009, December 7th, I came back from lunch, and the company I was working for said, you need to go to personnel. So I did. And I said, oh, we have this wonderful retirement package for you. I wasn't ready to retire, but they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So at that point in time, I started shifting out of things. I decided I'm not going to work for anybody else. And I started kind of trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. I wrote a book on self-improvement. I wrote another book on motivation. I was doing seminars around the United States. I had a mentor. And then around 2013, 2014, my wife came down with breast cancer. And it was one of those, okay, does she have something or not? Anyway, long story short, she survived very, very well. But part of the process of learning about, and just as Tracy was talking about, being a caregiver, there are just so many things that you learn on the job. And in the process of going through things, one of the things that I learned was that in my early days, when I fell in love with chemistry back in high school, I was able to do a lot of things. So she has a side effect. Okay, let's see what I can do. So I started doing some research on, okay, we can do this and this. And I found a lot of good information that canceled out a lot of the side effects from the chemo. And as we were going through the process, the one side effect I could not deal with at all was fatigue. 1, 2, 3 2-hour naps a day was common. In between chemo and radiation, I pushed it an extra month, literally. I said, we're not going to do these back to back. They were very insistent. I said, no. And I had read a book by Dr. Terry Walls called The Walls Protocol. And that's WAHLS. She came down with MS very late in life. She's still alive today. And no matter what the doctors did, it kept getting worse. Didn't matter. In a wheelchair for years. And she started studying the autoimmune system and wrote a book on it called The Walls Protocol. Well, first day of radiation, and her doctor told her, you expect the fatigue to get worse. We started her on the Walls Protocol. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. And 48 hours later, she no longer had fatigue. It was like a light switch. She wasn't taking any naps. A week later, she was volunteering back up at the church. And on the last day of radiation, we left Houston, drove to Jacksonville, Florida. It's about 1,000 miles. I rented a U-Haul to bring back my parents' estate stuff. She followed me 500 miles each day by herself, 48 hours after her last radiation. And what changed all that? In the Walls Protocol, there is a dietary prescription. And it says you do this, this, and this. And that's what we did. And it wiped out months of chemo fog. It wiped out weeks of radiation. And I don't think she took a nap literally for about a year or so. And in the process of experiencing that and saying, well, you know, maybe there's more to this. So I started switching over from self-improvement, motivation, inspirational kind of stuff to health and wellness. And then from that, I started concentrating on researching the human body at the cellular level, looking for the cause and effect relationships. I had been in a company that I was doing cause and effect analysis on failures. And so it was just a natural progression of, well, why does this happen? Okay, well, why did that happen? Okay, that makes sense. And so I looked at what causes things to happen and what stops things from happening. And that I started then writing into my health and wellness books and the other things that were going on along there. So that was my new focus after my wife's full recovery. And literally a year after her last surgery, and doctor gave her a thumbs up to show you how well she was doing, we went over to Spain, walked the Camino de Santiago, which is a 500-mile walk. We walked it in 30 days, both of us. And that was her Thanksgiving for full recovery from the cancer. So with that in mind, I started everything toward longevity, anti-aging, those kinds of things, age-related diseases. And that's where everything started really starting to fit into place. I was at a Toastmaster meeting one night, and I was talking about a couple other things, and I happened to mention in passing to the audience, I said, if you really want to be a very, very good speaker, I said, make sure that you're an author of a book so that when you're introduced on the same topic, in other words, I was talking on whatever topic it was, and I had my book there with me. With being an author, you have that extra credibility. And I didn't think anything of it. I'd done this more than a few times at different meetings. And about a year later, I get a call on the phone from this guy who was at that meeting. He says, hey, I wrote this book, but I can't get it published. And I had published, I think, 3 books at that time. I said, well, let me take a look at it, see if I can help you. And I did. And he recommended somebody, and she recommended somebody. I had 5 referrals out of that particular presentation for being a publisher. Well, it takes, for me, about, let's just say arbitrarily, 100 books sold to get some level of return on my investment for my time versus publishing a book. And so all of a sudden, a new career path opened up, and I started publishing books. And I've done more than a few for Dr. JACALYN here over the last couple of years. So I went from being a researcher, a writer, a publisher, an author, a TV host, speaking on a variety of topics, into where I am today. And that's in the end of providing information. Most of everything I talk about is focused on cause and effect of what's going on inside the human body. And it's interesting. I look at Alzheimer's, and there's a dozen different pathways that Alzheimer's progresses through the body. Well, beginning of this year, I started looking at Parkinson's. And Parkinson's, similar, it's a dementia, but it has a different pathway. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe some of these same things that work for Alzheimer's, as far as shutting down a pathway or slowing it down or inhibiting it a little bit, might work for Parkinson's. And sure enough, it does. And then you start looking at, okay, well, here is, I have a tau or a beta amyloid plaque in my brain for Alzheimer's. Well, you have another kind of plaque. It's an aggregate in the brain for Parkinson's. And it's interesting, if you just say what causes something, you get the standard answer. It's for whatever reason, the computer spits out, this is what it's supposed to be. And for Parkinson's, it's genetics and environmental toxins and things. But in reality, it's a lot more than that. And so I started looking into, okay, what about this and that? What about this and that? And all of a sudden, these things pop up. So if you don't know what this is, you can't ask about that. And so I just started, okay, well, let's just kind of go down the field of Alzheimer's and apply it to Parkinson's. Oh, yeah, that works, that works, that works. And it's interesting how if you know what to ask, you'll get a really good answer. But most of us have no idea in the world what to ask. And I think Tracy did an excellent, super excellent job of saying, well, I learned from this. I watched that. Okay, fine. She now knows that this applies to that, and that can fix that problem because she had that experience. Well, that's kind of how my health and wellness, my anti-aging, my longevity, all those kinds of things all work together. And so that's what I do. I help people with their books. I publish their books for them. I'm a researcher. I have over 1,000 original content articles on LinkedIn, almost all of them dealing with some aspect of health and wellness, longevity, age-related stuff. but that's what I do. So if you're interested in speaking, writing, authoring books, publishing books, I can be more than a help to you.
Congratulations, Red.
Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, you started off with a story I'd never heard before. I was like, I can't believe it. I've never heard that. All
I have
of our shows
hundreds of them that you haven't heard yet. But it just sort of depends on where are you right now, and how do you want to introduce a topic? I wanted to go a certain way, and it made sense today to introduce that particular aspect of my life. But 31 years in the military, being married 55 years, and we have our first great grandson coming in February.
Oh, beautiful!
Really happy.
The absolute definition of loyalty is right there, Mr. Red O'Loughlin. Okay, thank you, Red. We're going to bring on our next two guests, and they are actually in the same states. They're at different parts of the state, the great state of Texas, although I don't know if Diane Floyd-Boehm is really there. I don't know really where she is. This woman travels all over the place. Let's welcome them, and then we'll give an introduction. Diane Floyd-Boehm, hello.
Hello from Texas.
Hello. And Ricki McKenna, hello.
Hello
Also
from Texas. Yay.
It's
I'm in
Texas
Houston.
Connection. I
Great
love it.
Texans.
Well, I think it was, I met Diane first, then I met Red, and then I met Ricki. Is that the way it went, I think?
Yeah.
Hi, it was in here somewhere, but he's not here today. He's traveling. So welcome. Glad to have you both here. I don't know if you know everyone, Caroline and Tracy. Do you know Diane and Ricki?
I know.
Yes. We know.
All right, good. Yes. I love when everybody's connected. Okay, so this is the last part of our show, and we've been doing a number of things. We were talking about where USA Global TV and Radio is going, and so we are still education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration, and now we sell your vision. So our focus is on business owners, entrepreneurs around the world. We have some wonderful things that are happening behind the scenes. Actually, something new happened today, which I called Ian right away. I was like, this is like God is saying yes. Anyway, everything that I'm doing is to help you all with your businesses and to have this be a place that continues to exist long after I am gone. So thank you all for your loyalty and thanks for being here. We're going to start off with Diane Floyd-Boehm. And Diane, I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show, but we have something very special for you today. It's the 2023 MVP award to Diane Floyd-Boehm.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see it. I'm very honored. Thank you. Wow.
Well, Diane, it has not been released before. This is the first time it's ever been seen anywhere. I was saving for today. Diane is our 2023 most valuable person on our team. That doesn't mean nobody else is valuable. You're all valuable. She continuously supports our mission behind the scenes. She is truly an advocate for everything our channel stands for in global education and global reach. Congratulations, Diane.
Wow. I've been in a lot of pageants and I would get in trouble because I wouldn't cry. But I think I'm saving all the tears for today because I am like blown away. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN.
You are welcome, Diane. Thank you for all of your support. Diane has brought so many people to this platform from all different parts of the world. It's absolutely amazing. And she is like my biggest cheerleader. So thank you.
Thank you. So sweet.
Thank you. All right, Diane, I know you're choked up, but we're going to go with you first, and then we'll go over to Ricki. Let's have you share a little bit about your work. You are an internationally acclaimed, award-winning, phenomenal, top of the list author, and your focus is children's books and young adults. You're also a keynote speaker. You're a teacher. You're an actress, you're a singer, you're a gardener, you're a knitter, a sewer, a baker. I mean, I could go on and on. But I think the most important thing is you are really a fabulous person.
Oh, thank you. Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much. I do love life and I want to enjoy and try all different things. So that's why you could name all those categories. But anyway, it's just really fun. But yes, I've gone from being in the classroom to writing children's books and young adult historical fiction. And I absolutely love it. I've always been a storyteller, whether when I was 10 years old, that was the first time I was on stage. And that's when I got the bug. I just saw how you can make so many people happy. And I've been on stage ever since. And it's just exciting. So to go from, telling your stories and then outside gardening, and all of a sudden, a whisper comes that you need to put your stories to print. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't know where it was going to take me, how I was going to do it, but I just started writing. And so now, 13 books later, I think I'm doing okay. My books are all about embracing imagination, kindness, love yourself, love others, discover new and imaginable things, and to embrace an imagination and going on these journeys with me in your books. You're learning so many things about life. So like Charlie and the Tire Swing, it's intergenerational. It has, grandma, grandpa, great grandma, grandpa. And though it's all about how Charlie got his first tire swing, and now I'm writing adventures for it, it was letting him learn what it took to get this giant oak tree to grow. And so not only are you learning about all the generations that went before you till you got your tire swing, but how this tree grew and how all the seasons had to go by before even a little twig appears. So a child's learning seasons, they're learning about their grandparents. And that's what I want. I love it from when I receive emails saying, oh my gosh, we could not get through the story. Thanks to you, we've been working on our family history. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted. I love family history. That's your story and the child's story. And so Charlie and Tire Swing's all about that. Other stories are just total imagination. The little girl in the moon and her best friend, the little boy in the moon, and their adventures. And they're called moonlings, and they love Earth as much as we Earthlings love the moon. So again, embracing imagination, learning about space, but also learning about Earth, our home planet. And then I have Boomer, the Curious Bunny. And it's done so well that I'll have a series now of Boomer. And Boomer, he loves his family, but he doesn't want to just stay in the rabbit hole. He wants to explore and see what's all around him. So he ends up having lots of journeys as he explores the world that he lives around. So come read my books. You can find them on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. You can find them in your local bookstores. They can order them and you'll have them in a jiffy. You can go to my website, DianeFloydBaim.com, and sign up for my newsletter. And you can email me, ask me questions. I love to help people, like, how on earth do I get started? Or I want you to know that my little girl just loved Boomer, and here's a picture. I love hearing from people. It just makes my day. And then you can also have me come and sign children's books at your local school book fair or your local stores. So any idea you have, I'm ready to hear and listen for it. So thank you, Dr. JACALYN. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. And Diane will be doing an Amazon Live with me, I think, very soon, as Tracy will. Ricki, you should as well. Sell some books. So thank you very much for that, Diane. And as a result of meeting you, I met Ricki. And Ricki has had her own show here for, is it 2 years?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
2 years, the United Kitchens, and it was an evolution where we had Simon McDonald from the United Kingdom News and Culture who was cooking with you. You are a celebrity chef. You're also a certified nutritionist, and you have had quite a journey yourself as an entrepreneur, and you are an author. You have your own book, and you also are part of a book collaboration. I think you have something else that's coming out too. Is that right?
It's out.
Yeah,
Yep.
here we go.
It's
Let's
out.
hear about it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jacqueline, and thank you, Diane, and everybody else. Yes, I have been a certified nutritionist since 1999. Kind of tells you my age, but that's age is all relevant. And I feel like somebody said something to me the other day about retirement, and I said, "What's that?" And it's not in the picture at all. I love food, and the way I got into this, and thank you for the book plug. Here it is. Yes, you can eat well and eat right and find the joy of cooking. That was my first attempt at my own solo book, and that was thanks to Red O'Laughlin. He's my publisher. And I started in this journey as a chef for myself, basically, and my family, because I love to eat, and they do too. We've turned out 2 chefs, my daughter and my son, and I think the third one's on his way. One of my grandchildren is now enjoying the cooking. But it's really, we're all connected by food. And so as a nutritionist, I started writing articles for the Aspen Daily News when I lived up in Colorado outside of Aspen. And that kind of got me on my writing journey. But the whole idea was the column was called Food for Thought, or Food First. And now I've turned it into Food for Thought since I've become the owner of a show on Zoom, as Dr. Jacqueline mentioned. It's called Ricky's Kitchen. And that's really where I spend my time, because I find I meditate in the kitchen as I'm creating. So all of this came about after I got my license and became a nutritionist and started talking to people about food and how food for me and for every one of us actually is, as Red was talking about, the basis for your health. And eating properly makes a huge difference. And that's for your individual self, because everybody's biochemistry and everyone's body is different. And food affects you, of course, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And it gives you energy or it doesn't. And so I got onto that whole trip about food and thought, well, maybe I should write a book. And I had a few people around me who were very encouraging. And so I finally got everything together and amassed some recipes that I had been using and some that I tried out just to see if they'd work. And I put a couple of those in the book. I like to experiment. And actually, the book came out great. As I said, thanks to Red, he helped me publish it. And interestingly, I don't know, Diane, you're not in Houston, but we have a store that's actually like a department store. It's billed as a house. They have housewares and they have hardware, but they have everything in between A to Z as far as things for the home, and they have books. So I took a chance when the book was first coming out and went in there, and they bought my book. And interestingly, they have a shelves full of cookbooks, but mine is the only one with a spiral binding. And I'm a Virgo, and I tend to be a little on the, I'm going to do it this way because it makes sense. And it's one thing that I was very pleased when the buyer saw that. He said, "Oh my gosh, I can put it on my counter and it'll lie flat. And I don't have to pin it down with 2 soup cans or something like that." And it's big print. And it's the only one like that on the shelves. So I was kind of proud of myself and Red for suggesting that. So that's been my journey into cooking. But before that, I've done a lot of nutrition counseling, not only individuals and families, but in schools. And I love talking with children because they just eat up, pun intended, everything that's said about food, because they do love to eat. And it just kind of developed into the show. As far as teaching people how to cook, I love it. I love instructing and watching people get it, and especially kids. And I was talking about, as 3-year-olds, my grandchildren are all given their very own knives, and they were taught how to cut carefully. And today, as I say, at least one out of four is very much into food and cooking, as both of my children are. They're amazing gourmet chefs. And so food has become my life, if you couldn't tell already. Interestingly, the first compilation book that I got into, and I'm going to show it, it's from the wellness universe. It's Complete Self-Care, and it's 25 Tools for Happiness. And I have a chapter in it, and it's entitled My Happiness Room. Guess where? Everybody gathers in the kitchen. As far as when you have a party, where does everybody end up? So that's my happiness room. And I got into, they wanted me to get into the technical stuff about dopamine and serotonin and so forth. But food is the basis for our whole health. And I think Red was, he didn't just allude to it, but the diet that he and Marilyn worked on for her health, she's amazing. She's just full of life and full of pep and a lot of fun. And he's absolutely right when it comes to food. So the books are concerned with food. And then the third one, I got into another one. This is the one you were talking about, Dr. JACALYN. This one is called Courageous Women Lives. And there are 7 authors who participated in this one. And this chapter is really more of a biography, an autobiography, how I went from New York to Texas. And I've been here since 1971 with a brief interlude of 15 years in the mountains of Colorado. And everywhere I have been, the emphasis has been on food and health. And it's just been an amazing journey because it's food that pulls me through the day. It's food that inspires me, but also people. Yesterday, I participated in something called an MLK Peas Through Pie. It was a pie contest, pie making contest, but a fundraiser for this whole school, one of the high schools in Houston. And the fun part was I had a whole classroom in which to demonstrate. So I demonstrated making a sweet potato salad. But the great part of it was I had 5 boys, young boys who were junior high school, who were in a martial art demonstration. And before they came into the classroom, there were a lot of other activities going on as fundraisers. 5 boys and 4 girls from this martial art group, junior high kids, who absolutely were a fabulous audience. And teaching children, it's just great. They literally eat it all up. And none of them had ever seen purple sweet potatoes. So I explained the history of it. And by the way, my book also includes food history, as well as the nutritional value of each of the foods that we talk about. And the kids just loved it. I got such great feedback. There were also some other adults, but the kids were the best audience. And I can appreciate, Diane, how you said, people, they send you feedback as far as the response of the kids. And I gave away a book to one of the boys who was really the most inquisitive as far as the cooking, because I asked who cooks and this type of thing. So I think I found my niche. And between the writing, the book writing, and the teaching online, I've always been a teacher of something. And I loved doing the United Kitchens because, first of all, it was fun with Simon, and I learned a bunch from him. I learned from everything and everybody that happens around me. I think life is a learning journey. And so I'm very grateful for the United Kitchens and for USA Global TV and for everyone concerned, because there's been such a plethora of incredible people that I've met through this. And I want to thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for the opportunity to be on here. You can reach me at rickiskitchen.net, and it's an easy thing to remember. There's always a menu on there for the month of the shows that I'm doing. I do 4 a month. And it's Thursdays at 11 o'clock Central Time. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has. So that's really it. I'm delighted to be here and very grateful for the opportunity. And so back to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ricki. And, you know, I'm just thinking to myself now, Tracy is here. Tracy, I know in your book you have some recipes. Wouldn't it be nice if the two of you teamed up? Because you can help prevent people from getting Alzheimer's and dementia, hopefully, right? And then someone gets it. Tracy has all kinds of information, tools, and tips. So I'd love for you two to connect.
Super. Thank you. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Ricki.
Yeah, Tracy's the author of this book. I don't know if you saw it or not. Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. By the way, I just want to say something. This is my second copy of this book, but this came in a packaging that blew my mind. I actually reached out to Tracy. I'm like, who packaged this book? And she said she did. I couldn't believe the expert care that you took to package this book. And I'm thinking I have to up my game a lot. I'll tell you that much for my books when I sent out my books. So we do have a couple of comments. Let's see. I didn't get a chance to read it. It's Dr. Madeline Shan. Hello. We're sorry you're not with us today. What a great reunion show. Was very touched by Red O'Loughlin. What an amazing man and what a compassionate heart he has too. His knowledge goes beyond. Yes, you are right. Thank you. And congratulations to a brilliant reunion show. Well done, Captain of the Mothership. Captain of the Mothership. I love that. And our team members are stars on today's reunion show. Hearty big love to all of you. Diane, Babe, Caroline, Red, Ian, Helena, Tracy, Roland, Ricki. Look at purchasing your cookbook. Yes, you can eat well and eat right. Joseph Setter and Heather Joy Grant and featured guests too. Wow, thank you, Madeline. You just summed everything up for us. That's beautiful. Wonderful.
I have to ask Ricki. Ricki, is your book at Bree and Company in Houston?
No, it's Bearings.
Oh, Bearings. Okay.
Are you in Houston?
I go over to Kingwood and to Houston proper quite a bit. So
then we should meet and definitely have something.
Yes, definitely.
Coffee, tea, lunch, whatever.
Diane told me 1,200-mile ride is no big deal, right, Diane?
Yeah, that's right. I did.
I'm like, I
have a ride with my mother one day. We made it from Houston to the Panhandle of Florida in one night. So.
Oh my gosh, that I've done the opposite way. We made it from Fort Lauderdale to Houston, but we took 2 days with my mother.
That's incredible. Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, that's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
But well, absolutely, Diane.
As Texans, give us a car and we're on the road.
That's on the road.
I'm wondering if the three of you have any questions or any comments for each other.
Well, I know the dementia book is absolutely incredible. And Tracy, I do recommend it to a lot of people. And I've told my church about it and what you've done for people.
Thank you so much.
Ricki, I'm gonna have to, you're welcome. Tune into your cooking because I'm not a great baker, but boy, do I love baking, as Dr. JACALYN knows.
I've got some tips.
And Dr. JACALYN, thank you, but really, thank you for the award. I just was so overwhelmed, and thank you for USA Global TV and Radio for starting out with you with Rapping with Dr. JACALYN. You're just an amazing friend, and I'm exhausted when I read an email about everything you've done in one day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to do something. You're just
wait till I tell you the latest. I can't say it on the air, but it is unbelievable how I was at the spin district yesterday and I took a class and the spin instructor and I were talking about eating. And she said something which really stuck with me. She said, you know, JACALYN, you're an athlete and you should be eating like an athlete. And I said, I'm an athlete. She's like, you are. And I thought about it. I was like, I don't know, maybe. So she said, you need to have some carbs in your diet. So long story short, because I can't even go into it, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. But she said, have a bagel. So I didn't go yesterday. And then today, it was around the corner from the spin place, but I couldn't find my phone. So I had to go back to my car. I'm like, I'm not going to drive over there. It's ridiculous. So I end up driving there. And I say to myself, just go to the one that you have near you. You've never been in this one before. I decided to go in and I saw they had a television screen right there in the bagel place. And I talked to the owner and I said, who's in charge of this? And he told me who. And so I called them on the phone and without giving too much detail, look for us on a local screen somewhere in your retailer. So that's all I have to
Wow.
say. That's what I'm working on. That, and all of our team members
Okay.
get to use our badging graphic, so you can put that onto your website. You can put that anywhere, that especially your website, when people stop by and they see this. We were talking with Ian and Helena earlier on about the importance of badging and the credibility that it gives you. And so for those of you who've been using the title, hopefully you have TV presenter, you're now expert correspondents from wherever it is that you're broadcasting. And we have expert correspondents all over the world. So
I
I'm
love it.
really excited. So you have a little clue about one project that I'm doing, and then there's a different project to take us on other platforms. So I am not standing here just idly. I'm always making.
No grass grows underneath your feet.
So I do want to give a special shout out to the Spin District. And the Spin District is where I am teaching spinning. So if you are a Florida resident, if you're a tourist, if you're a snowbird, a snowflake, get your butt to the Spin District and start spinning. It's in the Royal Palm Court Plaza, which is absolutely magnificent. And there's something coming, an announcement about that, which I can't mention. But let's take a look at their clip. It's really amazing. It's changed my life since I started working there at teaching. I'm teaching Mondays and Fridays at noon, and I'm subbing Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 o'clock and 7 a.m. because the people I've met and the things I've been able to think of for this platform. Let's take a look. All right, so you get a kind of visual of what it looks like inside there. So lots of cool energy. Thank you to the Spin District. And thank you to Diane Floyd-Beam, who has been a sponsor from the very beginning. I reached out to her and she always says, yes. Thank you, Diane. I really appreciate you. We've got, I don't know, like 7 different clips, but as you have new books that come out, I never know if we should be playing the older ones. I get confused, but
all of them are good.
Yeah, it's been a really incredible ride, and so I just thank you. I thank you all for being here. So thank you to people who are watching on the live or the replay. We are back on the radio, so if you weren't aware of that, we were off for a little while because I couldn't find anyone to manage it, and then I found them. Here it is. Yes, me. So I am uploading all the shows onto the podcast platforms, and it's been a lot of fun. So what would you like to close out with as we leave for today? I'll start with Tracy.
Well, I want to invite everyone to my show on Tuesday. That's the Dementia Home Care Show, where I'll be featuring Lance Slatton. Lance is a senior case manager at Enrich Life Home Care Services in Livonia, Michigan. He's also the host of the podcast All Home Care Matters. It's available on YouTube and also on his website at All Home Care Matters. It featured me on his own show. He has got a wonderful treasure trove of caregiving videos. There's almost 300 videos. They cover all different topics. And I also want to thank Dr. JACALYN for all the things that she's been doing behind the scenes as well as on screen, and for inviting us today to be on the
Thank you, Tracy. And Tracy, your email address is on the screen. It's Tracy at TRACYCRAMPerkins.com. And you can reach her on social media at Tracy Cram Perkins. Thank you very much. Our expert correspondent in the great state of Washington. Over to our expert correspondent in the great state of Texas, Diane Floyd-Beam.
I too, again, want to just take a moment to say thank you, Dr. JACALYN, and the hours you put behind the screen is just mind-boggling. I guess you only sleep like 10 minutes a day. I can't figure that one out, but thank you so much. And again, for anyone and everyone, come on Wednesdays to our show, UK News and Culture. It's so fabulous. And I co-host with Dr. JACALYN and our other team members, Simon and Helena, Well, Simon from Scotland and Helena from England, and they just give us fabulous tidbits of what's going on in the wonderful country of the UK. So make sure you come and join us. It's 10 o'clock Central Time at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And we would love to have you. And make sure you share comments too, because that's really important to us. And to leave you with the thought that, remember, you are a light shining bright, and share your light and kindness with others, because when you do that, you're helping make the world a better place.
Oh, that was beautiful, Diane. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you. And our expert correspondent in the kitchen, it's Ricki McKenna.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jacalyn. And I do have an inkling of what goes on behind the scenes, and you are absolutely amazing. I think you're right, Diane. She sleeps 10 minutes a day, maybe. Just does such a variety of things to help us all, as well as helping herself, which is an important thing that I'd like to remind everyone to do. Take care of yourself first. Let's put your mask on first before you try to help anybody else. And loving yourself is the key to having other people love you and enjoy you as well. And of course, food first, food for thought. It's words and it's good food. And we would invite you to come join me at Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central Time at Ricki's Kitchen. We'll be on Zoom, and I can put the Zoom, I think you have the Zoom, not sure if Dr. Jacalyn has the Zoom link, but you can reach it through rickiskitchen.net. And food is a love of mine. And I just absolutely love all the opportunities that you've given me, Dr. Jacalyn, on USA Global TV. Meeting Simon and working with him on the United Kitchens was absolutely a giggle, but it was also very important to let people know that food is universal and how important it is to really treat yourself well, feed yourself well, both physically, mentally, and substantially with real food. I am so grateful for this opportunity and would love to help as many people as I can understand and really appreciate that feeding themselves well is an important part of living well. It's part of a lifestyle. So with that, you can contact me at any time at rickiskitchen.net. And the phone number is also on the screen. Thank you very much, Dr. Jacalyn. And thank you to everybody, and have a wonderful life. Enjoy.
Thank you, Ricki. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Well, we are at the end of our show for today. We do have some additional comments from Dr. Chan. Diane, you are such a beautiful person. I totally love your garden at your home. Such a beautiful soul. We love you. I think there's a lot of love there. I'm feeling lots of love. So,
yeah, Madeline and I are going to have to do a song together one day.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I'm going to close out with this. For those of you who didn't hear, we have a new website that's already been built. I saw it yesterday. It's in the sandbox, but we were afraid to take it out of the sandbox to play around today. So you'll see that coming, I think, within the next couple of days. We are actually live streaming this show to our website, USA Global TV, right now as we speak. And the other thing that I shared, we have a new website developer and development team led by VIVEK Pandy. He was on earlier today. So he'll be offering his services to anybody who's interested. We also have, excuse me, Evan Riley. That's embarrassing. Excuse me. Sorry, Evan. He's our voiceover specialist. So he couldn't make it today, but he does a great job. He's got a beautiful voice. And we also have Heather Joy, who is our producer. So she will be producing shows for anyone who's interested, and she'll be helping me when I take a few days off here and there. So they're all the announcements we have for now, but believe me, there's announcements coming. I just can't get my hands on it quick enough. So
Yay!
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to close out with some sponsorships that are really important. Without our sponsors, we wouldn't be here. So don't go anywhere. Okay. We're going to start off with Diane Floyd-Beam. Diane was talking about Boomer, and we're going to listen and look at Boomer, and we will see you tomorrow for our regularly scheduled programs. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes. Building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I find really I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSc.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diane Floyd Bames' A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DianeFloydBame.com.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundantly clear. Listening lazy creeping, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy, making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy. Da 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 da. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy, making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that? It's listening lazy. Ba-da-ba-ba. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy, making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy. Listening lazy, drive people crazy. Listening lazy, making us blue. Listening lazy, communication goes hazy. Listening lazy, listening lazy, listening lazy.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com. ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.